like I told you, we're changing the format a little bit. Going to do some different things. I'm just going to talk about some other things that I'm interested in I that I um, some things I make money from, some things I just enjoy, and in fact, I just talk about them. And as you probably gathered, college football is one of those things. So I had it at the top of my list when I thought, let's talk about something. And it's been a lot of fun this year. Uh, it always is every year. College football is a blast to me. As you can see, if you can tell, I'm in the locker room here at the University of Wisconsin. Uh, Not really, but um, the Badgers are my favorite team, and we're I think we're entering a new phase of Badgerdom. I'm excited about that. Coach Luke Fickle came and took over, brought in Phil Longo, the one of the air raid guys up from North Carolina. He's a student, and his mentor was um, oh shoot, now I'm gonna forget his name. Anyway, Lynch. Anyway, I'm not really want to talk about that a lot, but they're calling it the Dairy Raid, which is a very interesting breakdown of Wisconsin's offense. And chances are you guys don't, if you are football fans, you're probably not following Wisconsin, but you're going to see some big changes. We've always been a big running school, great running backs, great offensive linemen, and we still got a fantastic running back. Another one of our really good guys was hurt last week. It's such a tough thing. Ches Malusi, young man who transferred in a couple of years ago from Clemson. What a great kid! And he and Braylon Allen were kind of a 1-2 punch for Wisconsin. He's number one. Braylon's number zero. Braylon's really should be a Heisman Trophy candidate, but that's probably not going to go through Wisconsin for a while again until we win a national championship or something. But Ches got a terrible injury last week, and he's done for the season. Hopefully he may come back for a 6 year. He can get another year because of all these eligibility rules. But anyway, the Dairy Raid is what they're calling it, because Wisconsin and cheese and all that stuff. And it is we're throwing the ball around a little bit, but we're still giving it to our big boy, and he's running over the middle. And still got the giant offensive lineman. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. We're 3-1 this year so far. We did lose to Washington State, which is not great, but I think they're a pretty good team. Anyway, if you tuned in, you said, Randy, why don't you talk about cars? Uh, we will. We'll talk about them. But I just figured, hey, we'll talk about this too. What do you guys think? And I'd love to hear back from you, about this. I plan on talking about a lot of things that I'm interested in, both business and other things. The fact is that if you come to look at a vehicle on my car lot, if you call me out to take a look at your vehicle to buy, chances are this is the kind of stuff we talk about, because I don't I ask questions about cars, and I know about them obviously enough to do this business for quite a while. And if you guys are tuning in to listen to the Badger Talk, the name of the show is Flipping Genius, because we've got over 170 episodes of talking about car flipping, which is what we do, all of us do. And if you want to learn more, go to flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGENIUS.com, and you can hear all about it. You can watch all our videos. There's a ton of stuff there. But now, here we are, September of 2023, a long way into this big dance, and we're going to throw a few more things out at you just to share. So I would love to hear what you guys are up to. What's your opinion? If you hate this stuff, tell me that. I hope you have some interest, and if you do, let me know what you think about the changes at not only at Wisconsin, but some of the other changes we're seeing with the transfer portal and the new alignment of the conferences is crazy. Next year we're going to have Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Washington all in the Big Ten. Utah is going to the Big 12 along with Colorado. And this crazy times. I think Stanford and California and uh, I think those two guys are joining the one of the Eastern Coast conferences, the one with Clemson in it. It's just absurd, really, but exciting too. It's exciting, and you know what Coach Prime has done there in Colorado. I think we're all watching that. I was really tickled to see how well he had done in those first the first three games. I think I think they were 3-0 after three games, and looking great. They looked great against SMU. Exciting game that they played against Colorado State, and I guess they lost their third game, but they were 2-0, and they went up to Oregon and really got whipped pretty bad. But up until that point, I mean, seriously, they were doing some exciting stuff. If I'm wrong about their record, it's just that I'm just a guy. I'm not just a guy talking about football, but I think it's exciting to see what Dion has done there at Colorado and see what he's going to do. They're playing USC this week, which is another really tough thing for them to do. I live in Alabama. A lot of people wonder, you know, Randy, how can you be a Badger fan and live in Alabama? Well, I'm not from Alabama. I didn't grow up here. I didn't grow up in Wisconsin though either. So the common sense, there's not a lot of common sense to me being a Badger fan, but I have been since I was a little boy. But I am a Nick Saban fan, and you've heard me talk about that a couple episodes ago. I talked about Nick Saban, about what a great leader he is, and how I feel like he is a great example to so many of us. And I there's some joke around Alabama, a couple little rumors. One is Coach Saban just bought a $17 million beach house in Florida. And you know, people say, you know, buy a $17 million beach house unless you plan on spending some time there. So Coach is in his mid early 70s, I think. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job still, but there's a lot of talk around it. Maybe he's kind of hanging it up. And I've even heard some rumor like maybe Coach Prime will come to Tuscaloosa and be the new head coach of Alabama. But wouldn't that be something? They do commercials together, you know, for Aflac. So that maybe that's where that came from. And I suppose since I've got 170 plus episodes, I imagine I have talked to you guys before about my nephews Josh and Sam Lee, who are playing college football up in Michigan right now, and it's exciting times for them. They play for Hillsdale College, it's a Division III school. Josh and Sam, both 6'6", 245 and 240 pounds, I think, respectively. Sam just a little bit lighter, and both can run like a wind and catch a ball no matter where you throw it. And they've caught some passes this year. Sam leads their team in receptions. I don't know the stats right now. He's got to have, I don't know. He's got, I think, 20 over 20 catches and over 200 yards, I think, in receptions so far. And Josh is playing tight end, hasn't caught the ball as many times, but he's getting on the field too. And both are a lot of fun to watch. I'm hoping to get up there and see a game live, maybe in Cincinnati. I might go up there and see him play. So if you want to come join us in Cincinnati to watch Hillsdale College play, it'd be a great time to meet you. Yeah, but that's on the agenda coming up. Just probably run up there and take a look. I can watch them on my television with streaming here in Alabama, so I get to see all their games. So far, it's been disappointing. Not disappointed in them at all. They are working hard and playing hard and are good football players. Very talented young men, but their season's been disappointing so far. I'll leave it at that. I'm hoping that they'll catch fire this week. They play another team from up north. They're in the conference that plays mostly schools from Ohio and Michigan, and I think Pennsylvania. So it'll be interesting. what else is happening with the with that now? With me saying what else is happening, it's funny. It reminds me of a conversation I had this week with an old friend. It has been 45 years since Mike Stewart and I lined up side by side and played football together. 45 years, and that's something. And we were really great friends back in high school. Mike was the best man at my first wedding, and what a fun conversation we had the other night when he called me, and that's what Mike kept saying. He kept saying, "What else? What else? What else?" And he kept sharing me, information about teammates and that I remember, and teammates I don't remember, and guys that we played against that I don't remember mostly. And Mike keeps up with all of them. And God bless him. Mike's a retired policeman up in Toledo, Ohio, and he's a good guy. It was a lot of fun talking to him. But I guess I'm kind of approaching this episode. We'll call this episode, what is it, 174 or something like that, 175 maybe, of Flipping Genius. Just maybe just call it off the rails. And that's the next thing I was going to talk about is the Buckeyes coach just kind of went off the rails last week after they won the game against Notre Dame, and he just got all excited. But that's okay. Most of my friends back home, most of my family are all Buckeyes fans, and certainly the Ohio State Buckeyes are, got a lot to cheer for. And was it Ryan Young or something like that? I can't remember the Buckeyes coach's name. That'll piss them all off. Nothing intentional. It's just not popping in my head. But he got pretty excited. Frankly, I kind of liked it. I liked the enthusiasm. I liked the he was standing up for his kids, standing up for his team. He's got a lot to stand up for. They're a great team, and they won that game. That was a wild win. I fell asleep right before the end, to tell you the truth, and I turned it back on. Man, I turned it back on, and for a Badger fan, there's few things more joyous than watching Minnesota lose. And now, if Minnesota will lose to Wisconsin, that is a lot of fun. And for a long, long time, that happened every year. But old Row the Boat, I like to call him Row the Boat. That's PJ Fleck, the head coach at Minnesota, has done a good job, and he's got their program on sound footing, and they've won a few games against Wisconsin after over a decade of Badger dominance in the big Paul Bunyan Axe game, which is the oldest rivalry in all of college football, and the best trophy game ever. It is so much fun. But anyway, the Gophers were playing at Northwestern. Northwestern, of course, is going through all kind of horrible stuff. After losing their coach, Pat Fitzgerald, I don't know his name. Coach Fitzgerald, great guy. Just a great coach, and he apparently he didn't know what was going on, or some stuff that went on in the locker room that was wrong. I don't know the details, but I hated that he got fired, because I think he was a great coach, and I think he was a good guy. And if you think I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. But anyway, Buckeyes had just won the game. I missed it. Turned over. It was I think like going to the third overtime, and Northwestern had to settle for a field goal, and PJ Fleck had his hands on his knees, and I think he already knew that they were going to lose, and he was right, because Northwestern came back and won that game. They'd been down by like 21 points, came back and beat the Gophers, who are thought to be a pretty good team, and that just made my Saturday night. We played on Friday last week. The Badgers played on Friday. Unfortunately, Sam and Josh lost their game earlier in the day, but this kind of pulled out my Saturday when I saw the old Gophers lose. And hey, and if you are listening to the Flipping Genius up in Gopherland, up in Minnesota, I appreciate you, man. And I'm sorry, it's just football. I say it's just football, but whew, that's important. Oh man, well, I'll get back on here and talk about football some more. I want to just cover what it was happening this week because it had it in my notes. We could talk a little bit about a reorganization of the conferences. Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC next year. That's going to be exciting. Texas beat Alabama this year. That's a wild thing. And like I said, UCLA, USC, and UCLA, Oregon, and Washington all coming to the Big Ten next year. So that's going to make a lot of really exciting stuff happening, and I look forward to that. Um, this I thought I'd lay this stuff out here and just talk about one of my favorite things, college ball, and I'll tell you one of my favorite ways to listen to college football. And I talked to you guys about my walk every day. I've been walking over 6 miles a day lately, every day, and I always keep my head on a swivel, as you know, and I'm always looking for cars for sale. And it serves me well. I carry my business cards that say I buy cars. I carry my business cards for my business, and I carry not always, but usually I have post-it notes that say I buy cars, I buy houses. So from a business standpoint, it's pretty meaningful to be out there for a couple hours and looking for opportunities. Meet some people out there too. I've made a lot of good business connections on my walks. But while I'm doing it, I either listen to audiobooks, which I'm on my 49th one right now. My goal was to have 50 for the year, and September 28th today, so I'll definitely hit 50 for the year. But the other thing I listen to are football games, especially on Saturdays when they're playing college football. Got a great app. It's just called College Football. I'm sure there's probably more than one of them. And it's a little irritating because a lot of the radio stations that they link you to are not the right radio stations. But you can usually find a station for just about every major game. And I just about always watch the Badgers live. But sometimes I'll be out walking and I love the game, so maybe I'm listening to Iowa play Michigan or Notre Dame play Clemson or something like that. I love listening to the game, and you can listen to it while you're walking. It's a lot of fun. I like to hear the local color because that's what you're listening to, the local banter. It's a great way to pass those miles. In some ways, yeah, it mixes it up. I love the books too, but that's a great thing to do. So if you are interested in talking more about this kind of stuff, hey, great. You can write me at flippingquestions@gmail.com. If you want to tell me, hey, you are a pain in the ass, Randy, stop talking about this and just talk about cars. That'll be interesting too. You can write me at flippingquestions at gmail.com, or you can go right to the car flipping forum, which is free to join. At just go to Facebook groups and search Flipping Genius and you'll find it. Better yet, go to flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGENIUS.com, only one G in there. And you'll find all kind of links to the forum, to our videos, to all of our episodes where we cover all kind of things about flipping cars, to our resources page where you can save money on everything from tools and parts to education and insurance. You can find out just about everything that's Flipping Genius at the website, and you'll be able to link on there and send me a message on the forum. Send me a message directly. Write a message if you're watching this video. Write a message below. Say, stop this. Go back to the old way, or say, hey, I'd like to hear you talk about this other thing, or I'd like to come on the show and talk about this other thing. Love to have you. We're going to try to do more videos, put out more content. The software that I use to do the videos has changed right in the middle right as we started this off. Hopefully I can work through all that and get everything out to you. I'm sure I can. I'm an old dog, but I am pretty good at learning the new tricks. So I'll keep trying to do it. I'm trying to think of a good one for you to make a little extra money in the car flipping business. And I'll tell you what comes to mind right away. No, not right away, but what came to mind. Um, Today I was listening to a podcast about Wisconsin football, surprisingly enough. They were interviewing the wide receivers coach for the University of Wisconsin, and his name escapes me right now, but very, very quality coach. Really happy to have him with Wisconsin. He came from Cincinnati along with Coach Fickle. And something he said really registered. He said that the most important thing in life are relationships. And boy, that's something I absolutely believe. I mean, I believe, family relationships and your friends. I don't think it's the number of relationships, it's the quality. It'd be great if you can have a huge number. My little brother probably has a huge number. Mike Stewart, that I mentioned earlier, has a huge number because these guys just have a capacity to continue to make friends and build friendships. And God bless them. It's awesome. Um, I kind of do it one at a time. And thinking about that made me think of uh, a couple guys, both named Phil. That's funny. I Two of my friends, one goes by Phil, one goes by Philip. Um, Philip's in the car business here in town, and I actually walk past his house almost every day on my walk because I lately I've been walking the same route, and we meet just for a couple seconds. I try not to hold him up too much. He's usually busy, but every now and then we'll stop and talk, and it's great. We've developed a friendship that way, and the cool thing about that is when Philip's a car dealer, been a car dealer longer than me, deals a lot in the same vehicles I do. And the fact is we help each other now. We help each other with information, we help each other with connections. And that is such a valuable thing. I mean, he's helped me make money this year. I think I've helped him make money this year. And that will go on and get better and better because we trust each other more and more. Um, my other buddy Phil from Chattanooga is as we talk more as we build, you'll understand that I'm involved in other businesses besides just the car business and have been for years. But Phil has been again just a huge resource for me. And the thing is, we're so busy these days. It seems like, I don't know what to say I'm busy, but sometimes I don't think I'm that busy. But we have so many ways to communicate. Now, the wild thing is I mostly communicate with Philip by walking by and saying hello face to face, seeing him at the car auction, taking a minute to talk there. Every now and then we'll text or call, but it's mostly that way. Um, Phil from Chattanooga, I used to live in Chattanooga and we'd see each other all the time, but these days it's been a long time since I lived there. These days it's mostly by text or email. He sent me a text last week on Friday during the Badger game, and it was in response probably to the fact that I had texted him, or I'd called him actually earlier in the week, and then I texted him to follow up because he didn't answer his phone. But my point here is these relationships are huge. They will help you build your flipping business, no matter what it is. The car business, absolutely. Keep those relationships alive. Keep them alive by feeding them. You've got to bring something to the table. Now, if you've got somebody that does nothing but drag things from you, just take from you, that's probably not one you want. So if you're having that question, should I keep feeding this? You probably shouldn't. But these two guys, salt of the earth, I'm so glad to have them as friends. And the fact is, they also put money in my pocket and vice versa. It's pretty cool. Anyway, hey, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.